To this day.
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 What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn, Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Get this. Hearn states that Fury knows how much bigger he'd be if I was promoting him. Promoter Eddie Hearn insists that Tyson Fury and his father John Fury are aware of how much bigger the WBC heavyweight champion would be under his guidance. Fury, who guided by a Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum and Frank Warren, is preparing to defend his crown against the mandatory challenger Dillian Whyte on April 23rd at Wembley. The fight will be carried on pay-per-view in the United States and the UK. Hearn's Matchroom Boxing were outbid for their promotional fight, or right to the fight, after Warren's Queensberry Promotions won the WBC purse bid with a record-breaking offer of $41 million, and Matchroom had their bidder at only $32 million. I shouldn't say only, because $32 million is a lot of money. Fury's father, John, posted a video of social media saying that he was happy because Eddie Hearn's sick at the fight happening, and the Matchroom chairman has now responded to the comments. He says, Tyson Fury and John Fury, I like them, Hearn told pro boxing fans. Also, they're not idiots. They know how much bigger he would be if I was promoting him. They know I'm the best promoter in the world, but we've always had this little bit of back and forward. I think they're both very entertaining, and I think Dillian Whyte is going to beat Tyson Fury. Let me stop right there. Let me take you guys back on memory lane for a minute. Okay, at two different times. One in 2018 and two in 2021. Okay. You guys do know that Tyson Fury came to Eddie Hearn. You guys know that, right? He came to Eddie Hearn on his way back. He wanted to get back in. He didn't go to Frank first. He went to Eddie. Why? Because Eddie was the upcoming promoter. He was the biggest one at the time. He's still one of the biggest. And he proposed he wanted 4 tune-up fights before taking on the unified heavyweight champion of the world at the time, Anthony Joshua. Because remember, the year before that, Anthony Joshua took out Vladimir Klitschko, retired the man. In front of Wembley Stadium, 90,000 people there in attendance. Breaking Carl Froch's record and all that good stuff. Record-breaking numbers. Great fight, one of the best fights of that year, if it wasn't the best. I know Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia was pretty good, but I think that was way bigger, right? And they asked Anthony Joshua, everybody, all the fans, hey, what about Fury? What about Fury? So he called out Fury. He's like, where you at, baby? Ha, 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 right? And that was like the call out for a potential fight with Tyson Fury. Well, at that time, Tyson Fury was still fat as all outdoors. He was still going through his stuff, but he was on his road back. He had teamed up with his good friend or best friend, Ben Davison, and they were working himself back into fighting shape to be ready to restart and jumpstart his career, right? So that's what happened with that. So when Tyson Fury did come back and he did go to Eddie Hearn, he wanted tune-ups. He needed that ring rust to come off naturally. He ain't been in the ring for over 2 years at that time, maybe a little bit over. And it was like, okay, he asked Eddie Hearn for a tune-up fight. Well, what happens with tune-up fights is this. If you don't have a marquee name, the promoter has to put up the money for that. Okay? Because if the fight doesn't sell, the promoter's going to lose. That's why Bob Arum is pissed at Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford had a guarantee a substantial amount of money each fight. Well, tune-ups work like that too. You got to pay the fighter for fighting and getting in there. He's a prize fighter. So for 4 tune-ups, that's going to come off of Eddie Hearn's cut. And Eddie Hearn was like, hell no, you're not doing that. I'm not going to give you 4 tune-up fights. So then Tyson Fury went ahead and then went with Frank. And then he got 2 tune-ups, then the Wilder fight, then 2 more tune-ups after signing with ESPN. Okay? And then he fought Wilder again, and then he fought Wilder again. That's it. Okay? Now, 2021. We knew that Eddie Hearn single-handedly worked on one of the biggest deals for one of the biggest fights in boxing history. Anthony Joshua taking on Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury taking on Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia. The money was there. He had went back and forth, flew all over the place, getting venues, in business meetings, while Frank and Bob sat by spectating. Right? Eddie Hearn talked a lot. He did. He made promises, and that's what he got criticized and a lot of pushback for, because he promised this date and that date didn't happen. He promised that date didn't happen. But guess what? He eventually got that damn fight together on his own. How it came falling down was something that he had total nothing to do with, no control over. And that was Deontay Wilder winning the arbitration. So we know that. Eddie Hearn was doing that by himself. So imagine if Eddie Hearn could put together a fight like that. Took him some time, but he didn't have any help, but took him some time. To get Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua 50-50 split, what do you think he would have done with Tyson Fury in the first place? I think he would have done more. I think he would have got more. But then again, let's go back. Eddie Hearn didn't sign Tyson Fury. And he regretted not signing him because he didn't think he had it no more. He thought Deontay Wilder, like the rest of us, was going to knock Tyson Fury out, and he damn near did. Okay? He was maybe a second from that fight getting called off, and that was a wrap, but he made it. Okay, and because he made it, that's what salvaged his career, and that's why he is who he is right now. But there's no way of knowing that. So first, Eddie Hearn had to believe in Tyson Fury, right? To want to help him, to promote him the right way. So that's first, which he didn't at all. But once he beat Deontay Wilder, that fight was mandatory. And Eddie Hearn came on it. So he went for it head on. So really, Eddie Hearn's right in a sense, because he showed Tyson Fury that I can single-handedly do a deal that doesn't involve your co-promoters all by myself and get you more money than you've ever dreamed of. That's a fact. Okay? And I think Eddie Hearn, if he had Tyson Fury, he would have got him more money. He would have been in a better position. But that's not to take credit away from Frank Warren, because Frank Warren came through like a mother sucker with this purse bid. When you record break a purse bid, what does that mean? That means you have full confidence in your fighter that he will win and that fight will sell. Okay, so Tyson Fury's still doing well. Bars. Right? So I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. But they do know, and they do have some respect for Eddie Hearn, because they know what Eddie Hearn is capable of doing. You don't believe me? Look at Anthony Joshua. How much money do you think Joshua made in the last 4 years with Eddie Hearn? A shitload. Okay? That speaks for itself. So, and that's all you have to do is look at Anthony Joshua and what he did with Anthony Joshua. That tells you everything right there. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Hearn stating that Fury knows that he will be bigger if I was promoting him. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.